All right, hey everyone, this is Mike.
Yo, this is Josh.
And what are we checking out today, Josh from Real Dead?
Hey, we are talking about Saw X Traps. Now, this is a movie I've been freaking bugging Mike to see for months, and he's like, and he finally saw it, and you thought it was a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we are going to be ranking the traps now. So I'm excited to do this. I thought this movie had some really cool traps in it, to be honest. Yeah, Mike, what did you think of the traps? You think they were decent overall?
Yeah, I thought about half of them were really good, and then about half of them was like, yeah. But I mean, they're all pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Some are more violent than the other, and
Yep.
grotesque, and torturous. But I think we ought to just go through them real quick, and then we can go back. This video is about ranking them. Yeah. Josh's opinion and my opinion on which one is from the least one, number 8 to number 1. There's actually 8 traps in here.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through these real quick, and try to read a real quick 1 or 2 sentences of what the trap is. Josh, you can add to it as we go through.
Yep.
And this is not in any order in which we're ranking. It's just what they are on here.
Right.
But we got poisonous gas room trap.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's I don't know. Do we want to say spoilers in here or not? I mean, you're gonna know what the
it's a spoiler. So what the trap is, it's 2 people are in a room and there's one hole in the wall where you can stick your head out. And so there's a ton of poisonous gas in here and only one person can live. One will die. So you basically are fighting to the death with this person to live. So That's the trap.
So the next one is bloodboarding trap, which is it's basically like it says it's bloodboarding. It's kind of like waterboarding, except it's using gallons of blood, and it's like a seesaw going back and forth, and they have a lever in the middle, and whichever way the person pushes the lever, it tilts to one end or the other, and that's when all the blood is coming in their face.
So unlike the trap before, the gas one, both people can survive this trap. Because there's only a certain amount of blood. It will, I don't know what I just did. It will run out. So if you can take enough of this blood and manage it between the 2 people, you both can survive this trap.
Yep. So the next one is the radiation trap. And what this thing is in the movie, there's a radiation machine. It's used on Kramer. And what it is you got one leg, your ankle, and then one arm on the opposite side are in shackles, and there's a radiation machine there that is laying it to you, and you basically have to take a sledgehammer or like a mallet and hit and break your wrist, break your ankle so that you can get out of it before this thing ends up frying you. And the intensity of the heat gets more and more the longer you're in the trap.
And you're suspended midair.
Correct.
Too. It's not like you're laying on the ground shackled. You're like in the air like this, and you're trying to hit your arm, break your wrist, break your ankle to get out of this. So, yeah.
Yep. The next one is called an eye trap. And again, this one is one that actually wasn't used in the movie. It's actually John Kramer thinking about it, writing it out and everything. But it's basically this huge tubes attached to your eyes.
Yep.
And it's like a vacuum sucking your eyeballs out if you don't turn the dial to, I think it's number 5 or something. But each time you turn it to a dial, it breaks a finger.
Yep. And so I think each one has a number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for each finger. So you have to turn it to each number, and then it breaks your finger, pulls it up, breaks it. And you only have 60 seconds to do this in before your eyeballs are sucked out of your head.
Yeah. The next one is what this calls a pipe bomb trap. This is pretty gruesome.
Yep, brutal.
Two pipe bombs are implanted into this guy's arm. The only way to get them out is to cut through his skin with blades that have been taped to his hands. The guy's character was Diego, pretended to be a surgeon to scam cancer patients. So this trap is one of the more iconic and darkly funny ones.
Yeah.
Pretty gruesome, a lot of blood in this one.
Right. So they're hooked right into his bone, I think, not his bone, I guess, like into his meat of his muscle. And he had to take these things and carve them out of his arms. It was brutal. Yeah, it was really cool.
So the next one is called Brain Surgery Trap. And then on this one, you must perform brain surgery on yourself by cutting open taking your skull here, cutting out a piece of that, reaching down into your brain and pulling brain matter out.
Yeah, ripping a piece of your brain out.
Yeah, and put it in this solution that ends up melting. If not, this like trap goes around your face, and then heat lights up, and it basically burns your face and burns you into the mask.
Yes, it's a really cool trap for sure. So yeah, that one's good.
All right, so here's one. It's called Giggly
Saw
trap?
Yeah, this one was intense. So you have to use a giggly saw. I hope we're saying that right. You have I don't remember how much the time was, but you have to saw your leg off, your whole leg, stick this thing into your bone marrow, take some of your bone marrow out and put it into this machine. And it had to be a certain amount of weight. 3 ounces of bone marrow you needed. And if you didn't do it in time, another like giggly saw like cut your head off basically. So it was very intense to see. There's no doubt about that.
So the last one, Josh, is one that actually is in the credits. So if you don't pay attention in the movie, luckily Josh warned me about this. Said, "Hey, watch the credits on it." What's that one? What's it called there, Josh?
So it's called the disembowelment trap, and it's hooked to, so you're suspended in air with your arms up, your feet are dangling, and it's hooked around your like arms, kind of like a backpack on your front, kind of. And it's like this machine, and it's got these like fingers, like blades on it, and it goes right over your stomach. So I don't know if they dig into your stomach or what it does, because we didn't get to see. But it was a pretty cool looking trap anyway. So I don't know how he would get out, but we maybe we'll get to see it come to fruition in the next installment.
All right, so Josh, now let's go back and rank these from 8 to number 1. This is your opinion, and then my opinion.
Yes. So let's start with number 8. Number 8 for me is the disembowelment trap, because simple reason, we didn't get to see it in action. And I do like it though. At the end, I do like the look of it. I think it might be a cool trap. I think the guy that has the trap on it deserved it. And at the end of the movie, I forgot that guy was even a part of this whole scheme. So I was like, oh yeah, they're getting him too. That's awesome. So yeah, I would say it's a disembowelment trap for me, number 8.
All right, so number 8 for me, and it was between 8 and 7. You kind of tell my number 7 right there. So I'll go ahead and tell you 8 and 7. So number 8 for me was the eye trap, and the reason why was, you really didn't get to. It wasn't a real. It was something he was thinking about it, so it wasn't real, but it was somebody that if they would have went through with stealing some stuff, they would have had to go through this. But it was an idea of his, so it was not actually in use yet. But it was basically sucking your eyeballs out, like we mentioned earlier. So I have that as number 8.
Okay.
Number 7 for me, and I could swap either one of these two, was the abdominal trap or the disembowelment trap.
Yeah.
Just like you said, you didn't see it in action. You just saw somebody hanging from up there.
Yeah.
So I hope maybe in the next Saw 11, they'll show that one. But it kind of was like a teaser for a future one. So I have that one as number 7 for me. What was number 7 for you, Josh?
And also I liked in that disembowelment trap, it's in the original bathroom from Saw 1.
You're right. Yep.
I love that. That's awesome. And to know that this takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool. So my number 7 is the eye trap, just because of the dream. It was a dream. It didn't actually happen, but it looked pretty cool. I would think, I know you have to break your fingers with it, but I would think you would actually maybe lose your fingers with a jigsaw trap. But
I thought it would have been much better if they did that.
This trap, even if it goes through with sucking your eyeballs out, that's not gonna kill. That could. I mean, you'll probably live. I don't think you'll die. So, yeah, I'll say eye trap's number 7 for me.
All right, so go ahead and go with your number 6 then.
My number 6 is the radiation trap.
Okay.
Because to me, I did feel sorry for the girl that was in the trap. You know, she is a drug addict, and so she was taken advantage of with the drug use and all that. And also, I don't know, the whole laser burn your face. I don't know. It was cool when she was trying to break her ankle and her wrist, and then she did survive it, but then she ended up dying anyway. So it's like, I didn't like it.
So again, number 6 and 5 could be back and forth. Number 6 for me was the poisonous gas room trap. Now, knowing that you probably had to kill the other person unless they died of the poison before they got to the opening to stick your head out and breathe the fresh air versus the gas. It is a fight to the death, basically, unless you die ahead of time. But to me, it just wasn't dramatic enough. I mean, you had one person kill the other one, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. But number 6 for me was the poisonous gas room trap.
Okay. It's number 5.
Number 5 for me was what you just said, the radiation trap. So it was pretty cool, but getting burned alive is pretty bad. And breaking your arm and breaking your leg. But if looking at the 8 that's on here, you could do that, I guess. I don't know that I would. I'd just say kill me. I'd just die. But but I could see somebody could get through that one. And even if you got through it, you'd have burns, you'd have some broken limbs, but you're not you just survive it.
Yes. Yep. So
what's number 5 for you, Josh?
Number 5 for me is the leaking gas trap. So I thought it was a cool twist. Don't get me wrong. I like the twist of the movie for sure. And that's part of the twist, the gas leaking gas room. I like that you had to fight to the death with someone that you were in on this whole thing with, and that you were involved with. I kind of like that. So yeah, I'll say that. And my number 4 is the blood boarding trap. I liked it, but you both can survive it if you just push yourself far enough with the blood boarding. And it was it was something unforeseen by Jigsaw, who the little kid came in. He thought it was going to be him and Amanda in the trap, but it actually wasn't. So, yeah, I thought this one was really well done, Mike, in my opinion.
That's that's number 4 for me too, Josh. So I won't expand on that. It was just, like I said, it's blood boarding instead of waterboarding.
Yep.
And again, it was the whole thing about it was the kid. That was the thing about the movie. You kind of picked up early on that you thought the kid may be involved with it when you saw some random kid kicking a soccer ball. Not random kid. He was actually the son of somebody working the grounds there. But
yeah.
So number 3, we're in our top 3 here.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, which is still very gruesome, is the pipe bomb. To me, the pipe bomb and him digging in there, to me, it was pretty bad. Digging in there, trying to get the bomb out, and he got both of them out. He's one of the ones that did survive, right?
Yes, yeah. And you learn later that Jigsaw, after that or before, I can't remember, interrogated the crap out of him and got basically this guy spilled all the beans to Jigsaw. That's how later you find out how Jigsaw knew everything already. So, yeah.
What's your number 3, Josh?
That's my number 3 as well, Mike. So I won't say.
Oh, we may have the same top 3 here.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna go with no. Did you want to say your number 2 right now?
Oh, you go ahead, Josh.
Okay, my number 2 is the brain surgery trap. That's number 2 for me. I think you're agreeing with me. That's your number 2 as well, Mike.
Our top 3 is the same. Then, my number 2, the brain surgery was sick,
dude. So you have to do your own brain surgery on yourself, and you are seeing this guy literally saw into his scalp. He lifts the scalp off. You see his brain in there. He rips out a piece of his brain. It is hard to watch, isn't it, Mike?
It's very gruesome and gross. I mean, listen, I told you this, kind of messaging you this. People get tore up about Terrifier and how gross it is and grotesque it is, torturous. To me, Saw X was, and we can talk about that later on another show. This is some gross stuff. I had to turn my head a couple, especially on the number one. I had to turn my head away a couple times for a split second.
So number one is the Giggly Saw trap. I mean, this was like one of the first traps, Mike. I think this might have been the first trap we saw that was legit. And man, I don't think this was the first trap, but it was like one of the first. And man, was this brutal, Mike. So the trap is you got to saw your own leg off with the saw. It goes like this, and you work it. She literally saws her whole leg off. She's got to put the contraption in her leg, get the bone marrow out, and then you see the bone marrow, and it's just sick to look at, isn't it? And then
when she cuts her leg off, the leg just falls over there, and it's gross. Yeah. I mean, she came up underneath her leg just sawing like crazy like this.
Yeah.
And every time she'd do it, I mean, she'd scream, and then finally she just got to the point where she was just sawing like crazy.
Oh, man. And then the bone marrow thing. And then if you didn't do it in a certain amount of time, I think it was 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and you get decapitated. And she did. She didn't do it in time.
The saw was strong, come this way and cut her head off.
So the problem in a lot of Saw movies is the people waste too much time in the beginning. They don't start doing the stuff right away. Like, I think this girl was almost like 30 or 40 seconds in before she even started doing anything, and she's already lost too much time at that point. Because if she would have had an extra 20 seconds, she would have lived, Mike.
Yeah.
So, it was brutal, and man, it's probably one of the most brutalest traps I've seen in a Saw movie. It's got to be in the top 5 of all traps throughout all the Saw movies, in my opinion. So
it's pretty gross.
It's gross, but it is one of the top. I would say it's one of the top Saw traps I've ever seen. So
I had to, like I said, I had to turn away from it just for like, and then look back and be like, and then it was pretty rough. Listen,
I agree.
Terrifier doesn't have much over them. I mean, Terrifier is pretty bad with the acid and throwing stuff on people, but this is very, very. It's not good.
Yeah, but
it's good, but it's not good. If you know what I mean.
If you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing watching this? Go watch this movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. So yeah. Also, guys, I think that's it, right, Mike?
Yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe. Yes. Tell us your top 8 list if you're watching this, and have you seen Saw X, and did you like it or not?
Also, would you like more Saw content?
Yeah, Josh would love for you to say we need more content. Josh, you have a good one, man. Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye. See ya.